So, as leaders and as as business owners and people really involved in personal development and growth, again, I can never forget what's been etched in my mind for eternity. What Jim Rohn said, and that is, a formal education will make you a living, but personal development, personal education will make you a fortune. And why not make a fortune so you could be blessed to be a blessing to others? And that happens by working on yourself. That happens by, as I talked about in my book, How to Build a Big Team Fast. The very first principle is work on yourself while you work the system. So it's what you say to yourself, what you think about yourself, and so forth. So let's talk about these two little words, because these two little words deal with also that personal development standpoint and so forth, and that'll help you in your growth factor. So, two little words that'll make a big difference, and that is, the first two words are what if. What if, right? Now, sadly to say, that these two little words make a big difference in a negative way for most people, because their first thing is, well, what if it doesn't work? Well, what if we never get started? Well, what if we never get off the ground? Well, what if we never, and people have this negative, spin on that. But these two little words, whether negative or positive, I'm telling you, they make a big difference. And I don't know how many people that were ready to get started with something and somebody implanted, well, what if it doesn't work? What if? Those two little words made a big difference, and all of a sudden now they're negative or pessimistic. Those two little words now all of a sudden shifted their attention from what they thought the possibilities were to now, I'm not sure. And when you get in a place like that, my friend, you start thinking, well, what if? Okay, so what if everything breaks down? What if this? And it's just in your mind. It's amazing how people, when you get in that negative space, how your mind can just go crazy. Well, I'm telling you, these are two little words that can make a big difference. But guess what? It can make a big difference negatively, but it can also make a big difference positively. Right? So what if? So what if it does work? Right? Two words that can make a big difference. What if it works better than we thought? Right? I mean, what if this is the legacy business that we've always dreamed about? Hello, somebody. See, these are two little words that can make a big difference. And especially as leaders now, you're going to have to utilize these two words yourself, but you're going to have to navigate and work with your team members, work with your success line. Remember, success line, each of us create the success for the rest of us. You're going to have to work with them on these two little words. In your own family, you're going to have to work these two little words that make a big difference. And the two words are what if, and most people have heard those two words, but they only hear it in the negative sense. What if somebody could use the what if in the positive manner, right? What if you could use those two words, what if, and as far as the possibilities, right? Again, what if it turned out to be better, 10 times better than we ever dreamed, right? What if, see, changes in relationships? What if this person I'm dealing with gets their breakthrough and totally changes and emerges as a powerful person, right? I mean, what if ought to be used, but it ought to be used in a positive way. It's easy for people to use it in a negative way. It takes a little leadership. It takes a little discipline. It takes a little controlling of your mind to use these two words, I believe, in the proper way. And that is, what if this does work, right? I mean, I was speaking, to a group yesterday, and their leader wanted the followers to all get the book. And as I gave them a presentation about, how to build a big team fast, and I talked a little bit closed out about my book, and I said, hey, what if this $20 book helped you to build your team, get 10 additional people on your team? What if what if that's all it did? What would 10 additional team members mean for you and your team? I mean, what if, like, one woman who one principal helped her to make an extra $10,000. What if you used and leveraged the principal that made you an extra $5,000? What if this little $20 book? You understand what I'm saying? And so what I'm saying is when you as leaders, when you're thinking about things and when you're dealing with people, these two little words will make a big difference. Again, most people are used to hearing it, using it in a negative sense. You've got to be able to help them to use it in the positive sense. And when you use it in the positive sense, it opens up the possibilities. When you use it in the proper way, it opens up the potential. When you use it in the proper way, my friend, and again, just what if everything you've done, get this now, what if everything in your life has prepared you for this moment that you're beginning right now? What if? What if the thing that you think you're working on is actually working on you, and regardless of whether it succeeds or not, what happens is what you are doing, because you learning, means you're succeeding and it's positioning you. What if? Two little words make a big difference, but especially if you use in the positive sense, what if? And amazing is you think through history, like all the different people, they had no clue. They had an intention, they had a thought, they wanted to succeed, they wanted, but they didn't know for sure. But they grabbed hold of something that said, but what if this works, right? So the Wright brothers, they know, okay, but what if we end up being the first ones that get an airplane off the ground? What if? Because a lot of people tried and they failed, right? And so instead of them saying, well, what if we fail the same way everybody? No, they had to think something differently. And I'm telling you, leaders have to think differently. And it could be the same two words, the same two little words that make a big negative difference. You can flip them around, and the same two words can make a positive big difference. What if it works better than we ever dreamed? What if we get to be the first? Come on, somebody. What if we get to be the first? What if we get to build something that the world has never seen? What if? What if, come on now, what if we got to leave a legacy that our children and grandchildren would ask us about and say, thank you, grandfather, thank you, Dad, because of what you did, this is what I now get to enjoy. Hey, what if? Use the two little words to make a big difference in the positive way. See, sometimes, again, people don't understand the power of little things. But these two little words make a big difference, especially when you use them in the proper and in a positive way. See, if you think you are beaten, you are. And if you think you dare not, you won't. If you'd like to win but think you can, it's almost a cinch you won't. If you think you will lose, you've already lost. For this powerful truth we find, success begins with a person's will. It's all a state of mind. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger woman or man. Sooner or later, those who win, those who first think and then know that they can. What if? Two little words. Let's get some folks that use it in the proper way. See, Benjamin Banneker. Oh my goodness, what's his name here? Anyway, the guy that broke the 4-minute mile, Benjamin Banneker, is the one who made the clock, right? Okay, let's take Benjamin Banneker. Since I said the name, maybe Benjamin Banneker. The first all-American made clock, and he did it, my friend, years ago when our people were enslaved, when our people were thought not to be smart, and yet Benjamin Banneker made the first all-American made clock. He had to kind of think in his mind, well, what if this works, right? What if I can pull it off? What if? If he'd have thought the what if and the negatives, it would have stopped him. He'd have been hopeless. But no, he did it in the positive. He did it in the practical. And that's what you've got to do, my friend. As a matter of fact, when they were used to lay out the plans for Washington, D.C., and and the French gentleman ran off with the plans. Benjamin Banneker was such a genius mathematician, genius architect. He redrew the plans for Washington, D.C. by memory. Wow, how powerful. And as I studied and learned and taught my children about Benjamin Banneker, right, who also wrote an almanac, when I think about Benjamin Banneker, he's the kind of guy that had the two little words, what if? What if? George Washington Carver, right? He had the two little words, what if, but he had it in a positive way. What if I could take this little peanut and what if, he talked about in his book, he would get up 4 o'clock in the morning and ask God for wisdom, and God would give him wisdom, and he would go out, and all of a sudden there's 300 different products that came from this one little peanut. From this one little peanut, when the agricultural South was about to be ruined, one man, my friend, one black brother, way back in the days when our people were despised and listen, my friend, and thought down upon totally, this one man said, what if I can get a meeting and help them to see that this boll weevil that's eating up the cotton, that if they could change the plants, and by the way, in the Bible it talks about rotating, and so we can use something different. Instead of cotton, we could go to the peanut, and through the peanut with these different inventions I have, and this one man with his what if thinking was able to get a meeting, my friend, and that what if thinking affected these legislators and lawmakers of what if thinking, and they made a change, and the agricultural South was saved by one little man named George Washington Carver with the power of one little peanut and the thought of, but what if? Two little words that make a powerful difference. By the way, it was Roger Bannister that said again, what if, they said you couldn't run a mile in 4 minutes, a sub 4 minute mile. They said a man's lungs would burst. And he said, but what if they were wrong? What if I could break that 4 minute, sub 4 minute mile? If I could run a mile in less than 4 minutes, what if I could do it even though I'm not a young guy and I don't have a whole lot of time now? I'm actually, I've got a job that I work full time, and I just be able to work out on it. But what if I could do this? What would it mean for others? How would it impact? So just what if it works? So what if they're wrong, and I believe they are, and what if I'm right, that I could do it? And he made up his mind, my friend, and Roger Bannister broke the record that they thought was impossible for a man to run a mile in less than 4 minutes. And before the month was over, he had inspired several others. And what had not been done for decades, centuries, was now done because of one man who dared to ask the question, what if? But he asked it in the right way. See, two little words that make a big difference. What about these two words? We're switching gears a little bit here, but how about these two words? Forgive me. Now I'm changing gears a little bit. Forgive me. Now, in the Harris household, my children were never allowed to say, I am, or people say, I'm sorry, right? No. See, I am the two, those are two most powerful words, and that's what we're going to talk about last. But you don't put those words with something negative. You always put on something positive. So in my household, you were able to say, forgive me. And you don't even say so you don't say, you're sorry. No. Forgive me. Would you forgive me? Or forgive me, those two words, because first of all, it's you asking, and a person can receive it or not. And whether they release you and say, yes, I forgive you, or if they don't, it doesn't matter. You have done your part of the responsibility, my friend. You now are free. So the two words, forgive me. How many times have we sometimes unknowingly hurt somebody's feeling, or hurt somebody, or made a impact in the wrong way? And those two little words, if we just would learn to say, forgive me. You know, it was talked about this powerful. But listen, um, we're in a graveyard. It just had one word that they said that was written on the tombstone that just affected people, and it just said forgiven. Just the words forgiven. But imagine, my friend, these two little words can make a big difference, because there's some folks who are locked up and messed up because they, maybe, somebody, again, did them wrong, and nobody's ever, listen, and you got to learn, listen, as leaders, you got to be big enough to say, forgive me. These are two little words can make a big difference in relationships. If people, when they're wrong, could just say, forgive me. These are two little words that can make a huge difference, my friend, in business, because, again, in business relationships, oftentimes one party or somebody does something that, again, is offensive to someone else, or maybe they're not. And all that's needed is the two words, forgive me, especially when someone knows, right? When someone doesn't come through what they said they were going to do, it's just a simple two little words, forgive me. Two little words, but they make a big difference. But my time is coming to a close. I want to get on these two, because this is this is what I really want to get on. And these are the two little words that make a big difference. That is, I am. I am. I wrote about it in my book, Your Breakthrough is Guaranteed, 7 Simple Steps to Your Success. Psychologists have proven that the two most powerful words in the human language are the words I am. I am. That's why, again, in our household, you weren't allowed to say I am and the two most powerful words and then use the word sorry. Why? Because you're programming, the words I am help to program your subconscious mind, right? And whenever you say something negative, you're not a sorry person. But if you keep saying that, and growing up saying that, you ever notice people that say that constantly? You ever notice what kind of life they live? I mean, just think about it, because people don't understand. I am opens up the subconscious to be programmed, and when you put something negative behind it, then you're programming yourself to be a sorry person, my friend. No, you don't want to do that. Like I said, ask for forgiveness, but never. Matter of fact, my oldest son, Joshua, who spent 2 tours in Afghanistan and Marine, he said, Dad, I went in boot camp, and guys around me would say that you had us trained so well. Hey, don't say that, man. You're training your subconscious to make you a sorry person. You want to get all the help you can get. Don't be talking down to yourself. Don't be putting yourself and programming your subconscious in the wrong way. And so, of course, as I say, the words I am, the two most powerful words in the human language, I always got to talk about my favorite quote by one of my favorite people, and that is Muhammad Ali, who said this. He said, I am the greatest a long time before I ever believed it. I am. Wow, powerful. Matter of fact, the scripture says in Joel chapter 3, verse 10, let the weak say, I am strong. Not let the weak say, I am weak, but let the weak say, I am strong. And the weak there is literally talking about a sickness. We would say, let the sick say, I am healed. I'm healthy. I'm right. Hey, if the weak say, I am, watch this, two most powerful words. If the sick say, I am sickly. If the weak say, I am weak. If the poor say or broke say, I am broke, you just make yourself more of that. But when the weak say, I am strong, the weak now, I am, you're pulling strength, my friend. You're literally prophesying to yourself. You're pulling out the best in yourself. And those two little words can make a big difference. I am. And of course, those of us who are believers, that's the name. When Moses said, who shall I say sent me? I am that I am. I'm the ever-present one. But those two little words make a big difference. I am. Not I will, I am. Not I was, I am. I am committed. I am a conqueror. I am a winner. I am. Two little words that make a powerful difference. So my friend, go out today and make this a breakthrough day with two little words. By the way, I am, and I like to say I will.